Hello friends, welcome to kodEdge. In this lecture, we are about to create our first Terraform resource. So let's get started. So first we are going to install Terraform on our local machine. So search for Terraform on the internet. And from the official website, you can download the Terraform on your local machine. So click on the download Terraform. So based on your operating system, follow the instruction mentioned here. So I have Mac OS, so I'm going to follow this section. Okay, so let me open the terminal and just copy this command to execute in the terminal. So I have already installed Terraform on my local machine. That's why it is showing to reinstall the Terraform. Okay. So let's check the Terraform version by running the command Terraform version. Okay, you can see the Terraform version is 1.7.5, which is the latest version at the time of recording this video. Now next we will configure the AWS credential on our local machine. So for that purpose, you should have AWS account. So let me go into the AWS console and let's search for the IAM. And let's go into the users section. Now, if you have just created an account, then you must have logged in as a root user. Hence, it is best practice to create a user, and using that user, you can access the services. So I have already created a user, that is kodEdge user. If you want to create a new user, what you can do, you can click on this button, that is a create user, and just follow the instruction as per the screens. So I have already created a user, so I'm going to click on that and click on the security credential. And one more thing, when you create an user, at that time, make sure to attach the policies, that is administrator access. Okay. Now click on the security credentials here and go into the access key section and click on the create access key. So use case will be command line interface. Let's give the confirmation here. Click on the next. Click on the create access key. Okay. So we need to use this access key and the secret access key on our local machine. So let me open the terminal and here we will run the command AWS configure. Now to run this command, you should have installed the AWS CLI on your local machine. If you don't have AWS CLI installed on your local machine, so what you can do, you can follow this document that is provided by AWS to use the environments variable to configure the AWS CLI, and you can directly run this command. So in the place of access key ID and the secret access key, you can use this access key and the secret key, and you can use the region that is near to your location. I will attach its link in the GitHub repository as well as in the video description. So let me go into the access key section here. Just copy this access key and let's execute this configure command first. Let's use that access key and copy the secret access key. So default region I have already AP Southeast 2. So what you can do, you just have to go here and whichever the closest location for you, you can select that one. Okay. So I'm selecting this one, that is Sydney location, that is AP Southeast 2. So let me enter that. Okay, so this will be default region for all the services that I'm going to use. Let's press the enter again. So AWS configuration is ready. Now let's create a new folder for our Terraform. So here I'm creating a new folder, that is Terraform lecture. And let me open this folder using IntelliJ. So let's create a new folder. So I'm creating a folder as a lecture 2. And in this folder, I'm going to create new file that will be main.tf file. So first what we are going to do here, we are going to set up provider. So for that purpose, you can write like this, provider, then your provider, that will be AWS. And in the curly bracket, we are going to provide the region. and region will be AP Southeast -2. So editor auto suggesting me some tips. Okay, so when you create a main.tf file and when you start writing the configuration, the IntelliJ will auto prompt you to install the plugin for the Terraform. So I already installed the Terraform plugins. That's why it is showing the auto suggestions. Now next we will create a AWS resource. So here we are going to create EC2 instance. So to create the resource, write resource, then the resource type. So that will be AWS instance and the resource name. So I am giving name as a EC2 demo. Then in the curly bracket, provide the arguments for the resource block. So here I am providing AMI. So let's find out the AMI ID. So let me go into the AWS console and let's search for the EC2. Just click on the launch instance here. So here I am going to use AMI for the Amazon Linux. So just copy this AMI ID and let's use in the configuration. Then next provide the instance type. So here I am going to use instance type as a T2 micro, and to give the name for the EC2 instance, let's use the new argument that is tags, and here provide the name. That will be YT instance. Okay, so EC2 instance configuration is ready. Now you must be wondering how you would know that which arguments to use in the resource block, right? So for that purpose, what you need to do, let's go into the Terraform official documentation and here click on the registry. Click on the browse providers. So here there is a list of all the providers that you can use. Okay, so here we are using AWS provider. So click on the AWS provider here, click on the documentation, and here you will find the list of all the resources that you can create using Terraform. So here we are creating the AWS instance. So let's search for the AWS instance. And if you go into the EC2 section, here you will find the option for the AWS instance. And here you will find the sample example for creating EC2 instance. And if you go down, so here you will find all the arguments that is required to create the EC2 instance resource block. So if you go here, so here you can find the argument reference. So it has mentioned all the optional and the required arguments for creating the EC2 instance resource. Now, when you create a new configuration, you need to install the provider that you are using in this configuration, right? So we are using AWS provider. So to install the provider, we need to run one command. So let me open the terminal and let's cd into the folder in which we have created the main.tf file. Okay, so we are in the lecture 2 folder. So let's run the command terraform init. So this will download and install the provider defined in this configuration, that is AWS. So let's execute this command. So it is initializing the provider. Okay, so it has successfully installed the AWS provider. Now if you go here, you can see it has installed the provider version 5.42. And if you go into the folder section here, it has created a new directory that is .terraform directory. And in this folder, it has downloaded the AWS provider. So this is the provider version and this is a plugin for that AWS provider. And if you see, it has created one more file that is .terraform.log.hcl. And if you open this file, in this file also you can find the provider version that is installed on your local machine. Okay, so let me close this file. And now we will apply this configuration. So for that purpose, first run the command terraform plan. So let's understand what this command will do. So terraform plan command creates an execution plan which allow you to preview the changes that Terraform plans to make in your infrastructure. So let's execute this command. Now if you see the output of this command, it is going to create one resource. Okay, if you see here, there is a plus sign and the create option. So it is going to create new resource. And here you will find the details about the resource that it is going to create. So it is going to create AWS instance. This is the name of the resource. Then these are the arguments that we have provided. So we have provided AMI. Then these are the others arguments that it is going to use as default. And here you can see it is showing that known after apply. So what is the meaning of this? It means the value will not be known until the resource is created. So as a summary, what this Terraform plan command will do, it reads the current state of already existing resource or object in your infrastructure if there is any. Okay. Then it compares the current configuration to the prior state and find out the differences if there is any. And third, it proposes a set of actions like to create or update or delete the resource and check whether the proposed changes matches with the what you expected before you apply the changes in your infrastructure. Okay, so let me clear the terminal. So here you can see it is going to add one resource. So let me clear this terminal, and next we will apply this configuration. So let's execute the command terraform apply. So same like terraform plan command, it is also going to show the execution plan. So here you can see it is going to create a new resource. Then these are the arguments which will be used for creating a resource. And here you can see it is going to add new resource. And here it is asking for the confirmation. So let's enter yes here. Okay, so it is showing some error, that is invalid value, that is t2-micro. So here I have made mistake, so it will be t2.micro. Let me execute the same command again. So you can see it is creating the EC2 instance. So you can see apply completes and it has added one resource. So let me open the AWS console and let's click on the instances. Here you can see it has created the EC2 instance with the YT instance name. Instance type is T2-micro and it is in the AP Southeast 2C AZ. Okay, if you click on the instance ID here, so these are the other details related to the EC2 instance. Now, when you apply the configuration, Terraform is going to create new file. So let me show that file. So here if you go, it has created a new file, that is terraform.tupstate. So in this file, Terraform stores the IDs and the properties of the resource that it is going to manage, and also the resource metadata. So here you can see it has created the resources which is of the type AWS instance. Then this is a name, and these are the other arguments that it has used to create the resource. Okay, and this Terraform state file is only the way Terraform can track which resource it manages, and using this it can update or destroy these resources. And if you observe, this file contains all the metadata related to the resource. Okay, so this file often contains sensitive information. That's why this file must be stored at the secure place with the restricted access. And we will see how to do this in the upcoming lectures. Now, if you want to see the list of resources in your project state, you can run the command terraform state list. So here you can see the list of resources in your project state. Now let's say we want to do some changes in your already created resource. So let me open the EC2 instance configuration and let's change the AMI ID for our EC2 instance. So this is the ID for the Ubuntu OS. Okay, and let's execute the command terraform apply. You can see it is refreshing the state. Okay, and here you can see it is showing minus plus option here, and it is saying destroy and then create the replacement. So if you see, to update the AMI ID, it is going to destroy the existing resource and it is going to create the new resource with the new AMI ID. So here you can see the AMI option here. So this was the previous AMI ID and this is going to change with this AMI ID and that will be force replacement. And these are the other option it is going to use for creating the resource. So let's enter yes. So here you can see it is destroying the resource and here now it is creating the new resource. Okay, so it has successfully added the new resource. So let me go into the AWS console and let me click on the instances here. So here you can see it has terminated the old instance and recreated the new instance. So let's click on the instance ID and here you can see platform is Ubuntu. Now let's say we want to terminate our EC2 instance or destroy our resources that we have created in the AWS cloud. So for that purpose, what you can do, you can run command that is terraform destroy. So this is command inverse of terraform apply command. So let's execute this command. So this command will destroy only the resource that are managed by the current Terraform project. More specifically, using the state that is mentioned in the terraform.tf state file. So here you can see the plan. So let me scroll up. So here it is going to destroy. You can see the minus sign here and the destroy option here. And this is going to destroy this resource. Okay. And if you go down, so this is a plan. So it is going to destroy one resource here. So let's enter yes. And it is started terminating the EC2 instance. So destroy is complete and it has destroyed the one resource. And let's refresh it. So you can see it has terminated the new instance. Now there are few more commands. Let me clear the terminal. Now if you see here, we can format our configuration. Okay. So for that purpose, you can run command terraform fmt. Now you can see it has formatted the resource configuration. There is one more command that is terraform validate. So this command will validate your configuration and you can see our configuration is valid. So here we are using only one provider, that is AWS provider, but it is not necessary to use only one provider. You can use multiple provider as per your requirement. To demonstrate that, let me create a new resource. So here I am creating new resource with the provider as a local and it is going to create file. Okay, so local is a provider and resource it is going to create is file. So next you need to provide the resource name. So here I am giving name as a demo and it has an argument which is file name. So I am giving name as a ytdemo.txt and it has a second argument to provide the content for the file. And let me give some content. So when you apply these changes, it is going to install new provider that is local and then it is going to create this local file resource. So let me clear this terminal. So first step will be to install the new provider. To do that, we need to run the command terraform init. Okay, so let's execute this command. So here you can see it has installed the local provider with this version. Now let's apply this configuration. So command will be terraform apply. So here you can see it is going to add two resources. Why two resources? Because first resource is AWS EC2 instance and second resource is local file. So let me enter yes here. So you can see it has created the local file. So if you see here you can see it has created ytdemo.txt with this demo content. And second, it is creating the EC2 instance in the AWS cloud. So you can see it has created two resources. Now let's run the command terraform state list. So here you can see it is managing 2 resources now. And if you go into the terraform.tf state, here you can see in the resource section, it is managing AWS EC2 instance, and it should have local file instance as well. Here you can see there is another resource, that is local file. Okay, so let's destroy all the resources now. So run command terraform destroy. So this is the summary of commands that we have used in this lecture, and we have successfully created our first resource in the AWS cloud. So that's it for this lecture. Thanks for watching the video.